Jennifer Lopez, Ain't It Funny? It's Paul Marsh here on Express. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. Just coming up to 24 minutes past 11, and I'm joined in the studio by Luke Bugg, a.k.a. the Geek of Steel, and our very own Mr. Jon Brown. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Luke Bugg is in the building. The Geek of Steel, the legendary Geek of Steel, is here with us in the studio.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's almost like being in the presence of royalty.
Superman royalty.
I know, right? I know. And got your Superman hat on as well?
Yeah, there's no pressure now. You just built me up quite a lot. That's quite a lot of hype.
Just going to sit there in silence for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, just going to sit here blushing, guys. No, it's great. I'm excited to be on. It's going to be good.
So where do we start with you? Let's talk, Luke. Do you know what I'm going to do? Because I'm going to talk to both of you about this, because myself and Jon have spoken about this in the past. I want to talk about the word geek. Okay, because you are the Geek of Steel. Mm-hmm. Now, going back to when we were young, geek was not exactly an affectionate term, was it? In fact, it was quite derogatory and not very nice. And, oh, you're a geek. Whereas now, being a geek is a badge of honour.
It is. Behind the scenes facts, when I'm not being the Geek of Steel, I work in an optician's, so I'm around glasses all day. And over the years, I've had people come in and say, I need some glasses to make me look like a geek. Hang on. Looking like a geek isn't an option. Yeah, being a geek is a way of life. Okay, so yeah, no, it's a badge of honour to some. And for me, it's just I've always geeked out about things. It's about that. It's about being passionate about something. It's about enjoying something and being proud of something. Geeking out about the thing that makes you, excited and joyful. So for me, it's not a dirty word. It's a good word.
Well, it's not, and it shouldn't be. It's like you say, it's just about being a super fan of something, isn't it? Really, really into something. Go on, what do you want to say?
I love that beautiful metaphor that by day you work with glasses and by day Clark Kent wears glasses.
There's a Superman
love that.
Link there.
I love that. It's amazing.
Well, so let's talk about Superman and your passion for Superman. When did you first discover Superman?
It was quite late on in life, so it was like 2000 for me.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, and it was the TV show Smallville.
Yes.
It was on one Sunday morning, and I was like, well, I kind of recognise the story behind this. What's going on? And then, it came to me, oh, yeah, it's the young days of Superman. I'm invested. Loved that series, and back then, when the series happened, when it ended, you had to wait a long time for the next season. Especially when shows were in America, because we didn't get them here straight away by then. So in that downtime, I was like, right, what can I do to fill this void? Let's read some comics. Let's learn more about Superman. So I was getting friends to recommend stories. What should I read about to get to know this character more? And then season 2 came out, and it was the same thing. I just learned more and more over the years and collected more things and added to my collection, and it became, in a way, a part of me. And then I started sharing that more online and meeting more like-minded people around the world. To begin with Instagram, it was just an app that I would use to take photographs of my collection, so I wouldn't buy the same thing twice, which I still do all the time. But
been there.
From that, I met people from all around the world, and then the following grew a little bit, and then started working with companies like Warner Brothers and DC Comics, and having fantastic experiences, which just made me want to encourage others to share their passions more, because there is so much more out there if you just open up and speak with people about your passions, because you really see a light come on inside someone when you talk about what makes you happy.
What is it about Superman that puts him above Batman and whoever else?
Oh, the questions now.
I mean, that's just like one of those deep questions that you get at the end of a party. For me, it's always been about the hope. The fact that, he wasn't from this planet, he wasn't like anybody else. He could have easily taken over the world and the planets, yet he wanted to stay here. He wanted to help. He chose to be the best version of himself, not because of the powers that he has, but the strength that he has as well. So, and that combined with the comics and the storytelling and the fact that he's originally, he's the first superhero. He's been around since way, way back in the day, and I'm biased, but he's a big deal, so he's my favourite.
Is there any sort of Superman that you lean towards, either a particular incarnation animation, or maybe you gravitate more towards TV, like you were talking about Smallville? Do you gravitate more towards TV or comics or movies? Is there anything you particularly gravitate towards a little bit more?
It changes from like week to week. Like when you would, I've not heard that band for a while. Let's chuck on that and listen to that classic. I mean, it could be a week where I'm enjoying Christopher Reeve's Superman, or I want to go back and listen to some Henry Cavill, or watch some Henry Cavill, or watch the TV show, or go back and watch the classic cartoons. It changes, but at the minute I'm on a Christopher Reeve kick. You know, it's been a big anniversary year for Superman this year.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It got recently re-released at the cinema, didn't it?
Yeah, we did a big deep dive on that, didn't we, in the podcast, because it was just, we were kind of reminiscing about what Superman meant to us after kind of 45 years. And I know you went to do something special with that, didn't you? Didn't you go to IMAX or something? Or
there was a screening in London, and it was, for years I've been trying to watch the film on a big screen. It's not that easily to do. And when COVID happened, at that very time, there was a big event happening where it was being shown inside the Royal Albert Hall with a live orchestra. And I was like, if I'm going to see if I'm going to see it for the first time, this is where I'm going to see it for the first time.
Yeah, totally.
And it got cancelled time and time again. And in a way, it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, because whilst that was happening and being postponed every other month, I got speaking with the composer, which was Anthony Gabrielli.
Yes.
Wonderful guy, passionate
Amazing
guy, and we became really good friends. Sent him some Superman socks to wear on the big event. But the actual day when it happened finally, and I was in the Royal Albert Hall for the first time, and they let me go in to take some photographs before it all kicked off, it was like a pinch me moment. I'm still getting goose pimples now thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that first moment when you hear that orchestra warm up, and then you see it, because they played the film at the same time on a huge screen.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah, and it was like watching the film for the first time.
Yeah.
You notice new things. You hear old jokes that you've laughed at thousands of times before. But in that situation, when you're watching it with all these other people and feeling that magic that comes off the screen with Christopher Reeve, that's why, right now I'm on a Christopher Reeve kick.
Yeah.
Short answer to a long question, sort of thing.
No, that's what we like here. Top 3 moments of your life, is it in there?
It's up there.
It's up there.
Seeing that on there, it was definitely in my sort of, what would I would say, my career as Luke Bugg, the Geek of Steel. It's definitely up there. There's some other things that I've got to tick off that I don't want to mention.
Okay.
Because I jinx them, but I've had a few moments where I went to America to the Superman celebration a few years ago, and it's just in a wonderful place of all places called Metropolis.
Okay,
Beautiful little town, very sort of mum and pop America, but for one weekend of the year it turns into a Superman celebration.
Wow.
And thousands of fans from across the world turn up to celebrate Superman. And I interviewed Erica Durance and Helen Slater, who are Lois Lane from Smallville and Supergirl from the 80s, and that was a big moment for me. But there was a moment when I was walking down the street to the event, and somebody was shouting across the road saying, Luke, waving at me, and I thought, who's that? I mean, I know people know that I'm here, but who could it be? And it was a guy called Aaron Smolinski, and Aaron Smolinski was Baby Superman in the first Superman film.
Amazing.
So this little kid that holds up the car, and I was like, Aaron Smolinski knows my name. I was freaking out. But that was definitely one of those moments where it was like, okay, this is what happens when you step out of comfort zones and embrace the things that you love in a bigger way, and anything can happen, and things are still happening, so I'm not going anywhere just yet, that's for sure.
Luke, we're going to come back in just a second, and we're going to talk some more about podcasting. We're going to talk about Portsmouth Comic Con and everything else, but we're going to play a track right now. I thought Keith Urban with Superman was rather appropriate.
Thank you very much. It's not Black Lace, but it's fine.
I've been living in a world that's blank and
Keith Urban with Superman, in honour of Luke Bugg, aka the Geek of Steel, who is here with us in the studio ahead of Portsmouth Comic Con this weekend. And we're also joined by our very own film correspondent, Jon Brown. Hello, guys. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
That's my pleasure.
Good?
So, Luke, I just want to talk. I want to kind of do. Let's do some clangs. Let's do some name dropping. Let's just.
Come on.
This has got nothing to do with anything really. I just want to talk about some cool things. Do some name dropping for us. What have you done? Tell us some stories.
He's met some awesome people.
a lot of people know the name of Kevin Smith. He was one of the first celebrities I met a few years ago, and I was just completely starstruck. Had a fantastic conversation with him. Interviewed Zachary Levi. Met him twice, and last year met a guy called Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's an up and comer.
Yeah, who's that?
Is he, no, it's gone. Okay, but if you say he's a big deal, then. But
yeah, that's like the biggest name that I've met, and was the most nervous to meet.
How big is he?
He's big.
like noticeably
big. Then the fact that I met him in a hotel in London, and he was walking down the corridor with his like posse of people, and the lights were changing as he was walking down the corridor, because you could see him as he went underneath each big chandelier, and I was like, okay, I think that's probably Dwayne coming down now, but generally one of the nicest people I've ever met. And there were quite a few of what they call the DC family of the UK were there to meet him, and for these events, obviously he gets like a piece of paper with everyone's mugshot, so he knows who he's speaking to. Yeah. And we had to go around and introduce ourselves like you would do like on your first day of job, and like break the ice sort of thing. And I was like, hello, I'm Luke Bugg, the Geek of Steel. And he went, yes you are. And in that moment, I mean, it still gives me all like the tingles. I was like, okay, that moment did actually happen. And
I love you.
And that slipped underneath. But coming back to work after that, and me sort of speaking about it, sometimes people at work don't really care about what I get up to, but funnily enough, for this particular
that one,
did you really meet the Rock? Yeah. I was like, I did, I'm afraid. And he's just as nice in person as he is on TV.
That's always nice, isn't it? People have asked me about various people, obviously, that we meet, and I have to say 98% of the people that we meet are generally really, really great. Yes, you get the odd one or two that are not, but they might be having a bad day, you just don't know. But you always see, obviously, before Will Smith went the way he went, he was the nicest guy in showbiz. But now The Rock appears to have taken that mantle as the nicest guy in showbiz.
And one of the most like hardest working people in Hollywood as well. Never stops. Never stops.
Yeah.
So the way that you got to meet all of these amazing people is not just because you're really nice and you happen to like Superman quite a lot and DC quite a lot. It's because you do a podcast.
I do a podcast
amongst other things.
And I mean that's something that came from all of this. Every now and again, people say, "Well, how did this all happen for you?" And it's like everyone. If you start emailing people, you get lots of no's and a few yeses, and you start building relationships with companies and agencies, and it's a responsibility that I feel that you have a nice persona on and off, and I like doing that, but the podcast came from that. I just enjoy speaking with people. I enjoy hearing other people's passions, and from that, I've spoken with people from all over the world talking about what makes them happy, whether it be comics or cosplay or toys, music, anything at all. And it's just a fun way to sit down and talk with someone, really.
I think the one thing really, everything that we've been through over the last few years, the one thing that was missing from that time and that we now really, really appreciate is that human interaction, that sitting across from somebody and getting to know someone and having a chat and having that personal connection with someone.
And that's it. And I mean, you would always find something new in someone, and it's asking just not really difficult questions that make somebody think, oh, what's the answer to that? I need to give a good answer. I'm not going to look good or sound good. It's just listening, and that's what I like about podcasts. It's listening to somebody's story.
Yes, 100%.
So I've spoken with some fantastic people over the years. I've got a few more that I want to speak to. Henry Cavill he's always been that the ultimate guest, and I've come close over the years. But I believe that one day it will happen. I hope
absolutely so. It will.
It's the hope. It's the Superman hope in me that I want to sit down and just geek out with stuff with Henry Cavill.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, there was he was in the film with the fella you just mentioned. There's a little
Black Adam.
I knew that guy.
We can talk about that now.
That guy you mentioned. I knew that you. I knew he was in something. So he's in Black Adam. Henry Cavill, the little cameo, and I did wonder maybe
it was happening, and now it's not. Sadly, and that's the thing about being a Superman fan. It comes with you have the drama that goes along with it.
Yeah,
and I got to see Black Adam a few weeks before it came out, so I could prep my review, and that moment happened, and I think I was supposed to act with composure in Warner Brothers' private theatre in London.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
I was boiling, I was jumping out of my chair. Then I came out and I was like, all right, I signed all the NDAs.
Yeah.
I can't talk about this for weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to melt. But yeah, it was...
John knows that this is my huge problem, isn't it? I have,
Oh, no, he can't.
I have a massive problem with seeing a film a week or two early.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something huge happening in that film, and me going,
He's like a steam
I can't
cooker.
tell anybody about this.
But the other thing is,
painful.
it's funny you were saying about the morning, because I've been in that theatre. I've been in that theatre many times, and it's the smallest space. It's not even like you can contain or hide any reaction, because it's like 40 people
we
or
often
something.
go with the same people, and Kibbs, he was often my guy next to me, my little Jimmy Olsen, as it were. I've punched him. I've grabbed his leg. Recently, a few weeks ago, we saw The Flash, which comes out in a few weeks' time, and there's a few moments in that film where, at the end, I apologised to Kibbs. I was like, "I'm sorry, mate. What did I do?" He said, "You picked me out of my chair." Because there's a few scenes that happen that are just mind-blowingly good.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Right, you are going to be at Portsmouth Comic Con this weekend.
Yes, I am.
It's my first ever Comic Con ever.
Okay.
Not only Portsmouth, but ever.
Okay.
What are you doing, and what can I expect?
You can expect to have an amazing time. If I could go back in time and choose which con was my first, it would be Portsmouth Comic Con. Now, I'm biased because I'm local and the commute is fantastic. I haven't got to go to London, but this event is not only just about comics, it's about community. It is about families coming together and experiencing everything that they love, whether it be toys, comics, arts and crafts, cosplay, games. There's a fantastic retro gaming area that I can't wait to attend. But it's a fantastic weekend for the whole family. Whether you like one particular thing, whether you like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Doctor Who, there's lots of stuff happening there this weekend that is just a perfect day or weekend out. And if it's your first time coming, it is just the perfect introduction to an industry that I feel has changed over the years, and not necessarily for the better. A lot of these bigger cons that you can go to up and down the country, it's all about buy your tickets in advance so you don't avoid the queues, but when you get in the door, you need to spend more money to do this, to see that person, to do this thing, to stand next to a car. Whereas with Portsmouth Comic Con, you pay your ticket and you go in and you just have an amazing, immersive experience, and it's a brilliant event, and I've been excited for months for it, and I can't wait.
And what is it you're going to be doing there?
I'm going to be doing with you, aren't I, John?
You with us, yeah. So Paul and I will be talking to you rather like we are now, but doing something more on the Speaker's Corner area, which is powered by us across the whole weekend in the main room of Portsmouth Comic Con both days. We're with you on Saturday. So we're going to do a really cool panel about podcasting.
I'm excited about that. It's something that it's a hobby that sort of a lot of people have taken on over the last few years, and I've got a few topics that I could talk about and advice to those that want to get into it, and the mistakes that I've made across the way that have hopefully stopped happening over the years. But later on the Saturday, I'm taking part on the main stage with the Geeky Comic Quiz, which I'm very excited for. This is something that it's going to be a fun event. Everyone can join in. There are prizes. I sent a box into the Guildhall last week of all the goodies that are up for grabs. But yeah, it's the main stage that's going to be happening at 4:00. I love that, because just before that, if it's your first time at a con, you've got the cosplay parade happening as well, which is just always a busy and exciting moment. But yeah, the comics villain quiz. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to getting a nice gold sequin jacket just to make it a bit more fancy. But if not, I'll just be on the main stage helping out there with that, and just helping everybody have a fun time, which is what the whole team do with Portsmouth Comic Con. Yeah. It is about making sure that everybody that comes leaves in a positive way.
Luke, thank you so much for coming in. If
pleasure.
people want to find out a little bit more about you, where can they do that?
Just search for Luke Bug and the Geek of Steel will come up. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I hear MySpace is making a comeback, so I'm on there as well. So just search for Luke Bug, the Geek of Steel. And
John, if people want to get tickets for Portsmouth Comic Con, where can they do that?
Come check us out. We're going to be with Luke on Saturday. We're there across the whole weekend on the Speaker's Corner stage. Luke's going to be there the whole weekend too. You know it. PortsmouthComicCon.com. Get your tickets. They are selling really, really, really fast though, so get them now. PortsmouthComicCon.com.
Right. That's it from Luke and John. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. And we are going to be back in just a minute or two with music from Take That. I'm also going to be doing a good time story about a runner who has run for over 1,000 days. Either of you two guys ever feel like running for 1,000 days?
A swift walk, maybe. Yeah.
Give that to the Flash.
Yeah, the Flash, indeed, yeah.
Oh, there you go, exactly. Right, we're going to be back just after this.
This is Express FM.
Mornings with Coffee Cup. Wake up and